Daily Words of God.
Regardless of whether you are American, British, or any other nationality, you should step outside the confines of your own nationality, transcending your own self, and view the work of God from the perspective of a created being. In this way, you will not place limitations on the footprints of God. This is because, nowadays, many people conceive it to be impossible that God will appear in a particular nation or among a certain people. How profound is the significance of God's work, and how important is the appearance of God? How can man's notions and thinking possibly take their measure? And so I say, you should break through notions of nationality and ethnicity in order to seek the appearance of God. Only thus will you not be constrained by your own notions. Only thus will you be qualified to welcome the appearance of God. Otherwise, you will remain in eternal darkness and never gain the approval of God. God is the God of the entire human race. He does not consider himself the private property of any nation or people, but goes about doing his work as he has planned it, unconstrained by any form, nation, or people. Perhaps you have never imagined this form, or perhaps your attitude to this form is one of denial, or perhaps the nation where God reveals himself and the people among whom he reveals himself just happen to be discriminated against by everyone, and just happen to be the most backward on earth. Yet God has his wisdom. With his great power, and by means of his truth and his disposition, he has truly gained a group of people who are of one mind with him, and a group of people that he wished to make complete, a group conquered by him, who, having endured all manner of trials and tribulations, and all manner of persecution, can follow him to the very end. The aim of God's appearance, free from the constraints of any form or nation, is to enable him to complete his work as he has planned it. This is just as when God became flesh in Judea. His aim was to complete the work of the crucifixion in redeeming the entire human race. Yet the Jews believed that it was impossible for God to do this, and they thought it impossible that God could become flesh and assume the form of the Lord Jesus. Their impossible became the basis on which they condemned and opposed God, and ultimately led to the destruction of Israel. Today, many people have committed a similar error. They proclaim with all their might the imminent appearance of God, yet at the same time condemn his appearance. Their impossible once more confines the appearance of God within the limits of their imagination. And so, I have seen many people break into wild and raucous laughter after coming upon the words of God. But is this laughter any different from the condemnation and blasphemy of the Jews? You are not reverent in the presence of the truth. Still less do you possess an attitude of yearning. All you do is study indiscriminately and wait with blithe unconcern. What can you gain from studying and waiting like this? Do you think you will receive personal guidance from God? If you cannot discern God's utterances, in what way are you qualified to witness the appearance of God? Wherever God appears, there the truth is expressed, and there the voice of God will be. Only those who can accept the truth will be able to hear the voice of God, and only such people are qualified to witness the appearance of God. Let go of your notions. Quiet yourself and give these words a careful reading. If you yearn for the truth, God will enlighten you, and you will understand His will and His words. Let go of your opinions about the impossible. The more that people believe something is impossible, the more likely it is to occur, because the wisdom of God soars higher than the heavens. God's thoughts are higher than man's thoughts, and the work of God transcends the limits of man's thinking and notions. The more that something is impossible, the more it has truth that can be sought. The more something lies beyond man's notions and imagination, the more it contains the will of God. This is because, no matter where He reveals Himself, God is still God, and His substance will never change on account of the location or manner of His appearance. The disposition of God remains the same, regardless of where His footprints are. And no matter where the footprints of God are, He is the God of all mankind, just as the Lord Jesus is not only the God of the Israelites, but is also the God of all the people of Asia, Europe, and America. And even more than that, He is the one and only God in the entire universe. So let us seek God's will and discover His appearance in His utterances and keep pace with His footsteps. God is the truth, the way, and the life. His words and His appearance exist concurrently, and His disposition and footprints are open to mankind at all times. Dear brothers and sisters, I hope that you can see the appearance of God in these words. Begin following His footsteps as you stride forward into a new age and enter into the beautiful new heaven and earth that God has prepared for those who await His appearance.